Hey there guys, welcome back and hello if you are new, and time for my second apocalyptic anniversaries of February. So I'm looking at the 11th album and the record that was 3 years on from what I think a lot of people think is one of the best Cannibal Corpse albums when they returned with their 10th album, Kill. But I think Evisceration Plague doesn't necessarily always get its fair shake. So I thought I'd do a quick little video about the 15th anniversary of Cannibal Corpse's Evisceration Plague. So if you're not familiar with Evisceration Plague, it is the 11th album from the band, and I think it has a real sense of darkness to it. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to sort of shed some light on it, no pun intended, because I think there's a real malevolent feel to it. And if anything, probably the record I think that would be closest to it is the most recent, Chaos Horrific. It has that sense of like unadulterated rage and aggression and stuff that you would expect from Cannibal Corpse, but also has a real kind of malevolent feel, which I think, you know, on some of their later material, they might have done a little bit more, but it's just really dense, this record, I think. And I think, you know, after the all-out madness that was a career high on Kill, you know, I don't think a lot of people would have expected the way that they went for this, but that's not to say that it's not savage. You know, Priest of Sodom, like literally the first track on the album is utter barbarity, and I love it. But there's so much more to this record, I think, than, you know, a lot of people kind of give it. And, you know, it's the second album to be recorded with Eric Rutan, who is now in the band, but at the time was, you know, the producer. So I think they were kind of starting to get to know each other a little bit more and gel a little bit better. And some of the work on here I really enjoy, you know, the lead work in particular. You know, To Decompose has got these like really frantic kind of sweeps. And I think frantic is probably a great word that I would associate with any Cannibal Corpse release, but this one in particular. But I think there's more kind of attention to the detail in this. So like Beheaded and Burning, and you've got Carry On Sculpted Entity, which has this like underlying bass groove, which I hadn't heard until, you know, kind of re-listening to this album to do this video. I hadn't really noticed it as much, and there's a lot actually bubbling away under the surface here. And it also contains one of my favourite Cannibal Corpse tracks, which I think is quite underrated, in the form of Shatter Their Bones. It's a wicked, wicked song. And then you've got the groove on A Cauldron of Hate. You know, there's a lot more actually going on than we think on this album. And it's really interesting to see the band lean into that slightly darker side. And I also think in terms of artwork, you know, this was the first one where it was kind of like a bit more implied violence, you know, like you don't necessarily see a lot of gore or, you know, it's pretty like horrific, but the air of kind of like malevolence and evil that kind of radiates from those like figures that you can see, and just like, you know, that blackness is not a good place to go, and whatever these things are, they're gonna take you there. And I really, really enjoy this album, and I think, you know, it paved the way for their next record, Torture, which is definitely one of my favorites. I've even actually got it tattooed on my leg. It's right there, that little guy. So absolutely, you know, really love Torture. But I think, you know, had we not had Evisceration Plague, we wouldn't have had that sort of level of darkness that we might have had on tracks like Followed Home Then Killed, and, you know, things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, it'd be great if you could hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments underneath me of the record and the video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for more good stuff. Take care, my friends. Evisceration Plague!